on the neck.
Straight out of Wales with the wind in his sails, he's tipping the scales. Silurian trails, revealing their names while he's lifting their veils. Public assails, no one exhales. Won't read in the mail, it's not printed in braille. No bonus for sales, the light will prevail. He's telling the tale while he's hot on the trail. Whole nother scale, he's hammering the nail. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hair in the headlight.
Step back, please, be arrested. Step back. The press, don't even pick on me. Are you watching this? The press aren't allowed to film.
Injustice is served, collar crime is submerged. Don't be absurd, your vision is blurred. He's seen it occur, still right there on the curb. His iPhone record, he's filming the herd. BLM thugs act like Tom's eye on drugs. They wrecking the place, they're smashing the face. He's in with the thick, in with hammers and sticks. Exposing the truth, he's showing the proof. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hair in the headlight.
You just don't want to see it there. You just don't want to see the violence. You don't want to see the violence on some of those people. 3 people on a woman.
Support for the vets, pray unless we forget the pain he besets and the truth he projects. He's a victim of threats, but he never regrets. Live stream the upsets, no printing gazettes. He's taken the test, got the pedo's address. No south, east or west, he streams the protest. No news is suppressed, the whole truth is expressed. Twin standards he tests, he's facing arrest. He's trolling and rolling the camera and showing the standard that's double. Exposing the bubble, removing the muzzle. He's always got trouble, he's fighting the muscle and solving the puzzle. He's taking the fight and he's spreading the light and he's doing it right. Taking dark as the night and he's making it bright and providing insight while he's flooding your eyes like a hair in the headlight.
There's 4, 5 on 1. There's 2 on a girl. They pinned her to the floor. This one's getting a bully boy tactics. That's from the TSG probably. Sergeant, yeah.
Good evening all. Welcome to Real News Live News. We've got a few really good guests on tonight. We've got Kimberly Isherwood on, and we've got Ronnie Herman on as well. Christy co-host as well. Are you looking forward to it, Kirsty?
Kirsty. Why are you calling me?
Christy.
Yes, I'm really looking forward to it because we've got somebody coming on from Canada, which is amazing. So she's got loads of interesting and lots of information to give everybody as well about what's going on there. And then Kimberly can obviously say what's going on here, which is also massive. So it's going to be good, isn't it, Phil?
Here is Brenda. The intro song was done by Catherine Watkins, his other half, Darren. He wrote that especially for me. Top guy, isn't he, really, to be honest with you? He's done lots of things for PCP Wales and stuff like that. So amazing guy. We're going to bring both our guests on at once and we'll introduce them. Evening, both. How are you tonight?
Hello. Hi. Pleasure to be here.
Howdy doody, Phil.
Evening, Kimberly.
Hi, Kim.
If Ronnie could explain a little bit about herself, and if my head's down like this, it means I'm sharing. So if you could explain to the viewers a little about yourself and what history you've got career-wise and what experience you've got, that would be great. Thank you.
Absolutely. So my name is Ronnie, and I was a past educator in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. And I resigned in 2021 because I refused to indoctrinate students. I refused to do a lot of the things that they're asking educators to do in classrooms. I refused to sing BLM in classrooms, but we weren't able to sing children happy birthday because, oh my gosh, we spread droplets and everybody's going to die. So I resigned in 2021 from the Vancouver School Board after 15 years of teaching. I've taught college level as well. And when I came out in 2021 in Canada, wasn't too much going on in schools. Everybody was worried about the masking and the other stuff that was going on. And I was the only one in Canada coming out and saying this is what's happening in our schools, because parents were not allowed in the school. They were not allowed to use the washroom. They weren't allowed to go into the classroom. They were treated like terrorists inside the school. It was absolutely astonishing. I understand why parents were not allowed in the school, because you would see what's on the walls. You would see how the hallways are taped off like roads. You would see the posters. You would see so many things that would cause parents to question what was going on. So what I did is I resigned from the Vancouver School Board, and after that, I let it out. I let out names. I let out numbers. I went to the Vancouver School Board head office with Rebel News, brought them in with me. I brought police with me. I brought in police to many areas and was serving them to make these scumbags, because that's what I'm going to call them, scumbags who were preying on minors and ripping parents' rights. So since then, I have been all over British Columbia publicly speaking. I started my own YouTube show called RH Media, Standing for Children. Had many wonderful people on through Canada, school board trustees, mayors. The last one, whistleblower that's coming out, is actually in Canada, we call them custodians. They're the people that clean the school. He's coming out and whistleblowing that they have put AI, facial recognition, in every single school laptop, school device.
Wow.
And audio recording all the kids, and it's put on servers through UNESCO, United Nations, and DARPA. So
Right.
just finished that interview, and then the EMF that's in the schools, and each of our classrooms had a box where the Wi-Fi came from. Telecommunications is connected to that EMF. So when they want to fry these little children's brains because the Wi-Fi box is just in the ceiling, they can turn it up and crank it up. So, along with the sexualization, here we call it SOGI. I know there you call it RSE. In Canada, it's called SOGI, sexual orientation, gender identity. So
Wow.
blowing the whistle on that.
Brilliant. Well done.
Awesome. Would you like to tell Ronnie a little bit about yourself and your campaign, Kimberly?
Yeah, so I'm Kim. I'm chair of an organisation called Public Child Protection Wales. We do what it says on the tin. We are the public protecting the children in Wales. So I am a qualified criminologist, sex abuse, institutional abuse, abuse by teachers. I got 15 years education policy. I'm actually a fully accredited RSE teacher trainer now, because you've got to get on the inside. I have my personal history. I am a child from the streets. I've spent time in youth offenders, so nothing is too hot or too heavy for me. But I am the first one to stand up and say, this is hot, this is heavy. I first discovered this education in 2013 when it landed in Spain. Everybody said it was propaganda. I went researching. I found the World Health Organization document where they wanted babies masturbating from birth. And I've been keeping an eye on it ever since. We found out that the government had removed our parental opt-out for this education 2 or 3 years ago, from age 3 to 16, with no parental opt-out. It is no longer one subject. It is in every single subject. And so we've had a judicial review against the government here. We really are up against it. What we're dealing with here is 3 theories. So it's the sexual beings, sexual from birth. We've got the gender ideology, and we've also got queer theory. So the professor here, writing the documents, Professor Emma Reynolds, she does not believe in childhood innocence. She believes childhood is a myth. And she's quoting the work of Judith Butler and Michael Foucault, who is a known paedophile. So we really are in the thick of it here. The government has really locked down on us, and our children now have sexual and reproductive rights. So we're in the same storm, we're just in different boats.
Where do you think you're going, Ronnie, with the sex education over in Canada? Do you think it's
Well, the sex ed is called the SOGI, right? The sexual orientation, gender, right? That's where we get our pronouns and the transgender puberty blockers, hormone blockers, the craziness, and then the identity, which is the gender expression, gender fluid. They're pushing this starting at kindergarten when they go into schools, right? And that's where these gravy train for these surgeons who are cutting off the body parts of these children. But in Canada, children can just go and get any of these procedures done, and they do not need parental consent. So a father in Surrey, BC, spoke out for his 15-year-old, and he's in prison. He spoke out to say that he did not want his 15-year-old daughter going through this transgender operation because here in Canada, parental rights have been totally stripped. We can't say nothing. Our Ministry of Children and Families, which is like a social services for you guys, is involved in all of this. Transcare BC, which is connected to our Children's Hospital, is helping to facilitate this. And I just had a telephone conversation with the mom on Vancouver Island in British Columbia. Get this. This is making me sick. They are putting medical hospital clinics in high schools. What do you think that's for?
Oh my God.
So while your parents are at work, you know, a counselor, a GSA head person, a nurse or doctor can just walk you down the hallway to get your puberty blockers, your breasts cut off, whatever it is. And that's the craziness that's ramping up here.
I'm glad you've actually said that because I keep trying to here. It was a preventative campaign. Now we're dealing with damage limitation. And I'm trying to explain to people, look, your children's sexual rights mean the state can administer medication to your child without consent. It's against the law, everyone says. It's against the law. So why have they done it to 25,000 children in America who are now registered with irreversible regret? This is happening. It's happening on a vast scale. We're giving children the drugs that we give to chemically castrated pedophiles.
Right.
So this is happening. We also know as well there's a young girl who's gone into school. She's been homeschooled her whole life. She's gone to the comprehensive school now, and within 3 months, the parent has had social services there because this child is going to transition.
No.
There's absolutely nothing the parent can do. She's come to us for advice. The only advice I can give that parent is go along with it on the outside. On the inside, join groups, get together with other parents, build up your army and build it up fast now. Because if she shows any kind of resistance, her child is going. So she's going to appear as if she's playing along for the outside, but on the inside, she's got a lot of work to do, a hell of a lot of work. And this is actually happening. This is dangerous and people don't understand. So I'm glad that you said that there is somebody in prison for trying to protect their child. You know, people here need to understand how serious this is.
So the other thing, Kimberly, is Health Canada is actually paying and promoting this in every single school. There's posters in schools and school staff telling kids that if you want to transgender, you want to have a pronoun, you want to have a different identity, that they're telling kids that home is not a safe place. We can give you shelter, we can give you food and clothing, and you can leave home. I tell you that if you have any teenagers who are rebellious, and usually teenagers are rebellious at their certain stage, they're going to go, yes, I get to leave home, and my parents are stupid, woo-hoo. And schools are saying, but we love you best. We embrace you.
Wow. And it's the same with the services. What we're seeing is we're empowering children beyond capacity. And, you know, where are the checks and balances? Everybody wants rights. They're all saying it's rights, children's rights, sexual rights. Well, with rights come responsibility. Who is taking responsibility here? Nobody. Nobody's taking responsibility. Well, we are now. We are standing up. We are taking responsibility, and we are taking charge. There's no other way. There's no other way around this.
Well, the Infant Minor Act in Kimberley, they've stripped it. So it means 0 to 19. There is no rights under Infant Minor Act in Canada. So that means school boards, whoever, can do whatever they want to your children. And they can say and do whatever they want. And if you speak out to protect your children from these psychopaths, you could be arrested. You can have your children removed because now you are considered neglectful, abusive.
Yes.
It's a total turntable of these psychological psychopaths who are ripping your children away from you. And now they're reversing and saying, well, I want to protect my children. No, you're going to go to jail. You're hateful. You're transphobe. You're a homophobe. You're a bigot. You're a terrorist, whatever they want to say. And it's getting bonkers.
Yeah, it's unbelievable that this is happening. Like, it's so unbelievable that people don't want to believe it because it is shocking. But I think, like, between everybody now speaking out, now there's everybody from all different places speaking out. It's just getting, the movements are getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Do you have a lot of support where you are? Do you have a lot of people that help you?
So when I did a PowerPoint presentation for a group called Canadian Freedom Coalition, I did a PowerPoint presentation on the school board and photographs, not my opinion, because I want people to see the facts. I wanted to see photographs of this is what's in your schools. And when's the last time you actually stepped inside a school or allowed to come in to see your students' work? So anyways, I did a PowerPoint presentation. And then from there, we created the SOGI International Task Force. So we decided that this is a world issue. I know that in Wales, it might be called something else, but we're fighting the same demons, right? We're fighting the same things that are attacking our children. And so we have experts in many of these children, like Africa, Israel, Australia, Canada, United States. We have experts, pediatricians, psychiatrists, therapists. Alex Aaron from the Gender Report, she has joined us to help keep a bullet shield to inform parents on what is happening. But now we've developed toolkits so that parents can print off things and submit it to an RCMP officer, which is our police, submit it to your school boards. And now we're on a big push to actually take down our education minister because they're the ones that are putting a lot of this garbage in our schools.
Yeah.
Are you there, Kim? Oh, I thought she frozen then. Have you frozen, Kim?
No, I'm concentrating then. That's my concentration.
Oh. Oh, okay.
So yeah, this is what we all go through as well. We're all dealing with the same thing. It's the same demon. It's come from the same place. The raw data is based on sex abuse. There's no two ways about that. We're dealing with child abuse, mass child abuse, which has been made legal.
Yeah.
Well, here they call it MAPS, minor attracted person. That's what they're telling kids, that it's okay for an adult to be attracted to you.
Well, what we've got here now, they're trying to queer criminology. So when you're looking at the criminal, it's no longer a criminal. So they've already done this research for the sexual preference. But we're very lucky that we have got quite an intelligent team behind this. We use a lot of the work of Judith Reisman and Miriam Grossman. I know Miriam's been to Canada to do a presentation there. Did you know that?
What was her name?
Miriam Grossman. She's a child psychiatrist. She's from America. She's been fighting this for some time now. So she's actually been to Canada and she's done a presentation on the education there. And it was a few years ago and it was horrific then.
Yeah, we have some insider teachers who are giving us photographs. They're giving us video. We do have kids who are hooked up to microphone and cameras and in schools bringing back data, bringing back proof, because we are actually going after these school officials, teachers, principals, superintendents individually so that Canadians do not have to pay out of their tax dollars for if we personally sue these people. So that means getting their assets seized, having them criminally go to jail for the crimes that they've committed.
Well, that's where we're at now. We just action the judicial review. It's cost us £82,000. They're coming after us for another £27,000. But even though that hasn't gone in our favour, that's allowed us space to seek accountability. It has created case law, and that's what we are doing now. We are going after the teachers. And we can't be kind on them because they were given this evidence. They were informed of what's going on. They chose to be neglectful. Therefore, we go after them. And like I said, we've created this case law now that any low-income family in the whole of Wales can challenge the teachers and the council. So I'm really looking forward to seeing what happens there, because we're not going to give up. You know, we're not just going to roll over on something like this. This is the death of innocence. And we can't allow that, you know. But this is why I've been following this now for 10 years. So I've seen now every single campaign has failed, you know, and they're all failing because they're fighting the lie instead of exposing the truth, you know. They're going straight in after the LGBT, when in actual fact, LGBT has been hijacked.
Yes,
you know, no gay person on this planet wants this. No sane gay person wants this. Do you know what I mean? They all care about children. And this is why, because of the uproar all around the world, this is why our guests come down so heavy on us. Because when abuse begins to lose control, they behave erratically. They are losing control. That's why they've got their foot on the... That's why they're trying to come down hard on individuals to scare everybody else. But the truth is this, they are losing control. They are 100% losing control, whether they want to admit it or not, they are. Because the court of public opinion is with us. 99% of the population don't want it. The only people who do want it are the people who want access to young, innocent children.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we had just learned that some of these teachers who were pushing out the sexual identity, the expression, the pornographic, the sex acts, all of this stuff that is criminal, we just found out that they are actually taking a $2,000 grant. They're getting paid out. Now we're just following the money trail as to who's paying them. I have an idea who's paying them, but I don't want to give out false statements. In Calgary, Alberta, last year, a public school was taking children, grades 7, 8, 9, to a hotel and sex trafficking them.
What? Oh my.
So what they're doing in Canada is there is mandatory surveys that happen. Parents are not aware. On these surveys, they're asking very personal questions like, what kind of things do you have in your house? Do you have a piano? Do you have artwork? Do you have Shakespeare? In your house, do you have foster parents? 2 parents? What kind of parents do you have? And then another question would be, when you're at home, are parents watching you doing your homework? Are they involved? This is done by the Learning Bar Inc., which those servers are in Australia, Canada, and the US. There's 4 staff who sit on the Learning Bar Inc. who are collecting this data, and it's being sold to DARPA, UN, UNESCO, and they're surveying and profiling all these kids. So the 3 grades they took out, 7, 8, 9, they took out the kids who were Indigenous, they took out the kids who were from foster homes, group homes, and the 3rd group they took out was kids from families with addictions. They took those kids off site, took them to a hotel, and they gave them porn. How do we know? Because those kids came home, the parents opened up their backpack, and they said, "Where'd you get this porn from?" I got it.
No way.
Me got it from school.
Gosh. That's so shocking.
It's from a public school.
We are getting statements now from teachers. What happens in school stays in school. What happens in this lesson stays in this lesson. We've got children are drawing around their hands, and they have to write a trusted adult on each finger. They are not allowed to say mum. They're not allowed to say dad. Now, for me, as a criminologist who knows the level of sex abuse in schools, this is dangerous. Highly, highly dangerous. Then we've got teachers then who think they are top of the food chain for safeguarding. They have absolutely no idea their staff room is littered with predators. You know, so we've got a whole profession of these people who are entitled. They believe they're a cut above the rest of us. We're on their Facebook groups. We see what they are saying about us. We see their attitude towards us, and they're expecting us to build bridges. They don't want to be the enemy. They've made themselves the enemy because they are protecting the government by exploiting our children. Now I keep saying, I have got absolutely no objections to this being taught as facts. I've got absolutely no objections at all to them speaking the truth about the gender ideology. Tell them the truth where it came from. Tell them it came from John Money. Tell them the truth how LGBT started. That was Harry Hay. Tell them the truth about the consequences of consent. Tell them early sex will increases your chance of cervical cancer. Tell them, do you know what I mean? The oxytocin, the exchange of chemicals when you're having sex. Tell them how it damages your relationships. Now, if they were teaching all of that, I'd be the first person to say, go for it.
But they're not. They're giving them sex apps like Grindr to sign on.
Yes, they are. And Draga is another one as well. They've been there's one drag artist, drag queen, who's trying to encourage the children to sign up to Draga app. Why would they want to book a drag artist? Why would children do that? We've seen lesson content where they're telling children to use toys for sex.
Oh, yes.
And if you don't have toys, you can use vegetables.
Yep. No, we've seen that here as well. We actually have a masturbation room in an elementary school. So you could just go to the library, get some porn books because they're easily accessible, and you can go off to the masturbation room in an elementary school.
The moment that happens in this country is the moment I am going to prison.
Yeah.
I know they're giving children vibrators and things like that, the additional needs children. I know it's happening, but the moment it comes to my door or I see anything like that is the moment I will be in prison, and I've got no qualms over that at all. If they want, because that is sex abuse. That's non-contact sex abuse by definition, which is part of the Sexual Offences Act 2003. And I've got absolutely no issues dragging them out on that. You know, that is a point where I will not be able to control myself. That is a point where I will be willing to serve a custodial sentence. If I found out they were doing that anywhere around here, that's a fact. That's something I will not put up with.
I'll actually be in the cell next to you identifying as a woman.
Me too. I'll be with you. Don't worry. Definitely. There's no way that is.
Yeah, sorry about that. For some reason, it just only happens on a Tuesday, doesn't it? My Wi-Fi suddenly disappears, like, to me. It's quite amusing, and depending what subject there is.
Yeah. If it's anything medical or to do with the kids, you're axed.
Yeah. So after you've put in an appeal, haven't you, Kim? An appeal to the court?
Yeah, so we've put in an appeal to the court. We have. They're messing us around. They've actually made us submit 2 applications because we had something wrong on the application before. They really, really are giving us a runaround. Phil will tell you, they give me instructions to go all the way to London. When I got to London, there was a note on the door telling me this office hasn't been open for a year.
Oh, no.
So, yeah.
Wow.
They said, literally, I had step-by-step instructions, 9-page document telling me what to do. And when I got there was a sign saying this office has been closed for a year. So they are, and every application, because we're in the Court of Appeal now, the applications were £247. Now they are £500 odd. So we've already paid that twice for these applications, you know, and we haven't even been authorised yet. So we're only doing the court system, to be honest with you, just for people to know what's going on. Because what's happening here, the government are putting out statements saying we're lying, basically saying it's misinformation. They can't point out what the misinformation is, but that's what they're doing. So by getting this into the courts, getting it into the public domain, we have no high hopes in the court system. you know, if we had any kind of high hopes in this country, we wouldn't be having this discussion now. But we are playing the game for the children. And I don't care how much it costs. They can come and take my furniture if they want. I could do it now anyway. Take the lot. My children, you can't put a price on their head. It's as simple as that.
Do you think it'll go to the Supreme? It'll eventually get to the Supreme Court then? No.
That's what we're going for. That's what we are going for. You know, this Strasbourg we're headed for. The higher the court, the louder the message.
Yeah, definitely. Perhaps it might wake up the rest of Europe as well at the same time, and if it's in a European court.
Well, this is it, Phil. These cases have been in the European courts before. You know, there's been a couple of cases there. But let's just point one thing out here now for people, for me to show them exactly what we're dealing with. So in 2013, there was a case about, it was a British Airways case, it was, and a woman was wearing a crucifix, a cross. British Airways said that wasn't a religious symbol, okay? Crucifix, it's not a religious symbol, an actual thing. Right. Every single court in this country agreed it was not a religious symbol. This is an actual physical thing, right? Yeah. It took the court in Strasbourg 7 years later to say, yes, it's a religious symbol. You know, so this is the kind of thing we're dealing with, guys. Even when you've got something there solid to look at, these courts, you know, if they are saying that's not a religious symbol, then that should tell you the kind of thing we're dealing with here. You know, the system is twisted. It's an agenda. And this is why we have to go to Strasbourg. I'm hoping that we'll find somebody a little bit more conservative there as well, you know, because the judge we had for this was very liberal, very, very liberal, very inexperienced as well. You know, I've looked into her cases. Two things I'm really, really, really concerned about. So, yeah, I'm hoping for a bit of common sense further up the chain. If we don't get common sense further up the chain, it's fine, because we run in every single election against them anyway. So,
the main reason why I brought you on here, Kim, right, is because Ronnie has a lot of connections across the world in different countries, which might be beneficial to you. So if Ronnie could explain to you what connections she's got across the world, it would be great.
Yeah, so I helped create the SOGI International Task Force. So it's www.sogi123taskforce.com. We have a website, and on there we have, we just snagged our mainstream media news here. One of the mainstream media news is called Global News. The whistleblower from Global News is actually going to be our news desk anchor. So on our website, we actually have a news desk with a former journalist from Global News. I believe she's maybe suing them, but I'm not quite sure. I don't want to comment on that. So we created a task force with experts in the field of gender identity, gender expression, sexual abuse. So we have therapists, we have psychiatrists, we have Alex Aaron, who is the owner of the gender mapping out of Israel. She's the new expert that just joined us. And so with all these experts, when we have to go to court, when we have to go to small claims court, when we are protesting, when we're doing parent sessions, we wanted a task force that will be bulletproof against these psychopaths in the school board system. Because these are people, this is their field of expertise. This is their data, this is their research, and they can't fight the facts, right? And so this is what we've done, and we've created a toolkit for parents across the world. So anybody in the United States, Australia, Africa can go in and print out PDFs to take to their teacher, to their principal, to a police officer. We're going through the steps on judicial system and how they can attack it. We are hoping that with donations, we can help fund some parents or groups who are going after their school board systems. And we have access to a lawyer or a human rights lawyer and the gay community. So the Gays Against Groomers, they're big. We've been working back and forth with them. So the president, we're trying to get her to join our task force. And it's just making it so that whatever comes at us, and there has been a lot of hate email that's been coming at us, a lot of attacks. We had 2 public sessions that we were going to do on Vancouver Island. The Queer Alliance attacked us, the BLM, the churches. Funny enough, the churches said, we don't want to host you because you're not LGBTQ friendly. And I'm like, since when is a church supposed to be LGBTQ friendly? We are hateful people, and the businesses didn't want to have us. So we declined it, and we made another poster. And then we said to these groups who were attacking us, go onto our website, and where does it say we are hateful, transphobe, homophobe people? You know, LGBTQ community here in Canada is speaking out at school boards and saying, as an adult, my sexual preference is private. But since when do we ram this down a 5-year-old's throat that who are you sexually or romantically attracted to with the gingerbread worksheets, with the unicorn worksheets, right? This is being pumped out to 5-year-olds. And I interviewed a new teacher coming out of Ontario Canada College. I showed her some photographs and I said, have you seen these before? And she said, oh, yes, they're taught to us. So these new teachers in the colleges here are taught to push out this propaganda. So when they go into the school system, they are set, ready to go. It's absolutely insane. And then my good friend, I want to give a shout out to Pierre Barnes. He has a website called exposingsogi.com. This guy is a firecracker. He went to the RCMP here. He took the pornographic books that are in our schools, and he took it to the RCMP because under our criminal code in Canada, 163.1, any adult who's distributing porn, whether it be posters, a homework assignment, books, film, whatever, even out of your mouth, is a criminal activity. So he took it to the RCMP and they said, we can't do anything about it because the schools have approved this as educational. And now they're falling under the umbrella of SOGI.
Oh my
It
God.
falls under the umbrella of SOGI curriculum. We got to be diverse and inclusive. Diverse and inclusive to who? What about the people who are not gay? So if you're not gay, you're not represented. And I just finished interviewing a Christian private school mom. I was stunned that they have this LGBTQ in schools. They have these GSA clubs in schools. They're taking these kids into these rooms, not teaching Bible study on how you can transform into a different sex.
Oh my goodness, that's awful.
A white supremacy video to the whole class of grade 5s. The insanity that's going on in these Christian schools, because people think, well, the public school is not safe, so I'll go to a Catholic school or a Christian school. Oh, no. They've sold themselves too.
100%, 100%, they've sold themselves out. The whole of Christianity here, we've got ones, small little pockets of people amongst the churches who are livid. I've gone to conferences and a man spoke up one day and he said, turning the cheek, he said, is not a Christian way. This is not a Christian way. Forgiveness and turning the cheek. We need to call each other out. He said, you're not a Christian if you're allowing this to happen. Forgiveness and turning the cheek is not right. You're not a real Christian if you're allowing this to happen. And I agreed with him. I actually agreed with him, and but Christianity has been under attack since 2005. So there's been a lot of businesses that's gone down the pan. They've been attacked because they wouldn't, if they wouldn't have same-sex couples. So their bed and breakfasts have been under attack. Their hotels have been under attack. Their businesses, they've lost everything. And when you see people who have lost everything, you keep your mouth shut then because you're afraid to lose everything. But here, same as you, we are looking at criminal charges as well because this is a criminal offence. This non-contact, here is called non-contact sex abuse, and that's Sexual Offences Act 2003. But a police officer doesn't understand that because a police officer isn't trained in sexual crime.
No, I think they're actually been bought out too because I was protesting at a drag queen community thing where they were inviting 3 to 10-year-olds. I went there And the people who were sponsoring it was banks, and the health units were paying for this to go on. So I was there with police, and we had picture of the drag queen, what he really looks like, his Instagram account, where he works, because I thought, if you're going to do this to pedophiles, you need to be called out. This is what your real name is. This is where you work. The community neighborhood needs to know who you really are behind this dress, this makeup, this wig. So I went there and I started calling out all the laws, 160, 51, 52, 53 of our criminal code. I said to the police, has this guy, this pervert in this school, not the school, the community center, has anyone done a criminal record check on him? No. Do you think that maybe one of the police officers should be inside while this story time is going on because there's a Q&A section? No. So I said, then go get your captain and your supervisor who will do his job, because you're clearly not doing your job protecting minors and innocent people. That is your job. And I said, why were you called here? He said, for political. I said, political? What are you talking about? He says, well, because Antifa and BLM are here. I said, no, you are called here to protect children, not to protect the Antifa and BLM. They can handle themselves. So while I stood at the front door, while these innocent children were going through, the police and Antifa were escorting these families in right in front of me. It was disgusting.
They're doing the same here. They're actually ferrying the drag queens from place to place. So they're actually having police escort. They're actually having police escort now from place to place. So, and we have big museums. So Tate is sponsoring these things. I mean, they are hosting these things. So, and again, if you look at those drag artists around here as well, there's one, Ada HD. He has a massive erection coming up the front of his body when he's over the children. His social media is the same. He had a picture of a young boy and an adult, and he was saying how they both fair game in a gay club. He had a picture of an anus, next to his face. He's writing these books. He's actually raising money now for a funeral of a convicted paedophile drag queen. He's actually raising money actively now for that. He's a known paedophile. He's convicted. So, and this man is getting ferried up and around the country. And what I'm really offended by is he goes by the name of Ada HD, and he comes across really fun. Now, you 1 in 5 children have got ADHD. They're gonna think that is cool, So I see he's exploiting disabilities as well. Then but we call him Ada H hard on. Like I said, he's walking around. His erection is massive. And you've got the little 4-year-olds like this clapping in front of him. If this world had an ounce of morality, every single parent who takes their children in those places, they should have their children removed.
Actually, so this is the comment I want to make, Kim.
Yeah.
If you're in a strip club and you brought your kids with you, the police would be called in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Right? So why aren't they being called at schools with the stripper in there, flaunting themselves, showing their, private parts, gyrating in front of them? Why aren't police called there? I see it no different.
No, I don't see it. No, neither do I. It's a crime. As far as I'm concerned, it's a crime.
Can I answer that, Tom Lever?
Yeah.
Will they be banning pantomimes as well? It's totally different. You're talking about a drag queen, which is adult entertainment, does sexual stuff when he does his act. So it's completely different to a pantomime dame, and I'm sick of hearing this off the far left.
And
Exactly.
what happened the other day with that show where they were like doing the splits with all their bits hanging out and the mini skirts? It was so sexually done. They were dancing in front of the children, like wiggling their bums and everything. You're not getting that in a pantomime. You get a jokey with somebody with a big
Can we just not entertain that? Can we just not entertain that? Because that's the most bullshit thing I'm sick of hearing, right? There is no comparison. Anybody out there who wants to compare this to Pantomime Dame, come and see it, our faces, because I'm not going through this anymore, right? There is a massive difference between having your balls out in front of children and dressing up in a big, fluffy dress for a bit of comedy. You know, I've had enough of this now. No, we will not be answering those questions, Phil. Anyone out there who needs that highlighted, they have something wrong with them, okay? They have something seriously wrong with them. If they can't see the difference between this, we should be going after their hard drive. It's as simple as that. Don't entertain it. I'm not.
Okay.
Yeah, as you were on about the police in this country, we have them escorted, but we also have Antifa and we have LGBTQ and the far left. Then, like, I went to one 2 weeks last Saturday, and the police actually sent me to the wrong part of the demonstration. They sent me in the thick of 300 to 400 Antifa and LGBTQ plus. So, and they can get violent. They can actually get violent in these protests. We've known that in the past. If you're cornered, they will try, like, do they? We had eggs thrown at us. We had bottles thrown at us. And one of the the black guy we had was Brexit Brian. He actually had bananas thrown up by these people. And now that's racist within itself.
When in reality, what should be happening, we should be chasing them out of town with pitchforks. That's what should be happening.
I'll be there.
If there was a non-paedophile at the end of your street, you're all going to be kicking off about it. You know, you're all going to be kicking off. What's different about this? It shouldn't be happening. It's going to stop. It's going to end this year. I'm telling you, we're so close to the end. I don't entertain pro-clowns. I won't do it. I'm not even, if somebody sends me an email with they, them on, I say, hi, sir, how are you?
Yeah.
That's the way I will address you. I don't mess with people's feelings. I'm sorry, I'm a redhead. We've had to learn to put up with the jokes. We've had to learn to toughen up. So if somebody's saying something you don't like, tough. It's as simple as that. And to make up a pronoun, my grammar is bad enough as it is. You're not dragging me down that road. I am not entertaining it. I am not even going to debate it. That's where I stand on it.
Well, the BCTF here, which is the BC Teachers Federation, which has now got a stronghold of our education here in British Columbia, they have told kids, kindergarten to grade 3, and this is kind of, parents really need to think about the language of this, right? Because a lot of the language that's in schools is being weaponized, right? And gaslighting families. So the BCTF is telling K-3 kids that no one should touch their private parts without their permission. So that statement would sound like, oh, that sounds pretty good, right? But this is the kicker. Children that young are not legally old enough to give permission or consent to sexual touching. So do you see how it's being flipped? So when I used to have to sit through sex education each year in our classroom, the sex ed person who came in that PACs are actually paying for, which is parent advisory boards. The school boards and governments are not paying for this woman to come through. The last year that I was in the classroom, she was telling kids that adults can touch you with your permission. I say, what? How about no? How about no adult should be touching you like the previous 15 years? And now all of a sudden, you give them permission? If kids have something dangled in front of them, video games, chocolate bars, ice cream, whatever, they're going to say yes, right? Because that's what these pedophiles do.
It's not just that. What it is so it's saying pleasurable feelings. Know what feels good. Listen to your body.
It feels good to have your body punched.
Yeah, sex abuse is rarely violent, okay? Now, my body does not know if it's me touching me, if it's somebody else touching me. Only my brain knows if I can see it. My body, that's a tickle. If I do it, if you do it, it's a tickle. You're going to get a biological reaction. You're going to get a biological. Does that tickle? Does that feel nice? Yes, you've just been taught in school that's okay. This is a model of offending.
Yeah.
So what we're dealing with here, we're dealing with barriers to disclosure. Now with a child, what we've got here, they are actually teaching 4-year-olds to touch themselves.
Yes, they are here too.
Yeah. So with this particular piece, it's saying you can touch yourself. It's like tickling, picking
It
your
feels
nose.
good.
But the last sentence of all, it says, it's not polite to do it in a class when somebody's watching. Hang on. You've just programmed every single 4-year-old to now touch themselves and not do it in a classroom. We need to see this behavior in a classroom. That is a non-verbal disclosure. That could be, they could be doing it, touching themselves because they do it anyway. It could be a medical condition, or that child could be being harmed. Now, we need these children to act out whatever so we can investigate. If you've just programmed every single child not to do anything in a classroom, you've just programmed them all away from a non-verbal disclosure. Therefore, every single child from the age of 4 now is free rein to a predator. You're not going to get that non-verbal disclosure. So why are teachers not picking up on that? It's simple. They're not trained for it. Now, if
No, that's not true. No, that's not true. Here in, I shouldn't say in the United Kingdom, maybe not so, but in Canada, we have to go through a course once a year on child abuse protocols, forms, the legal stuff. It's all having to sign off.
Yes,
we are trained to we have to go through that.
You're not trained for models of offending. You're not trained for barriers to disclosure. You're not trained on institutional abuse. All the things for sexual safeguarding is not in the training. It is not there. You know, I know myself because I go through it all. I'm writing it myself. Institutional sex abuse is not there. Perpetrators is not there. You just get the odd stories. Like, so for us here, they bring up the Little Ted's nursery. I don't know if you've heard of that, Vanessa, George. So even when they bring that into the training, they are not showing you a female perpetrator. They play it as if she only did it because there was men involved. Do you know what I mean? So they just touch on that, then move on. So my argument is, if you're protecting your house from a burglar, you've got to think like a burglar. If you're protecting your house, if you're protecting your car from a car thief, you think like a car thief. Yeah. You're telling me you're sexually safeguarding these children, but you have absolutely no idea the different forms of abuse, different explanations of abuse. You don't know a model of offending. So these are the things that really, really concern me. Knew these things about predators. These here don't even know what institutional sex abuse is. They don't know what it is. And they working in the environment. They do, you know, I was got in the thing with this guy. He's an education guy. He's on Twitter, and he wrote an article about us. Usual stuff. The RSE extremists we are. So I picked up on the article, and I said, "So what about sex abuse in schools?" He said to me, "Show me one study," he said, "that proves there's sex abuse in schools." Show me one study. Well, actually, the one has just been done. It's a 7-year-old long study, and it's actually telling us that sex abuse in schools is an open secret. With 43% of children who are being abused, they're aware of other children being abused. So I sent him a load of reports, and then I was blocked. So this man, because he's a gay man, he's working in education policy. He gets a say. He doesn't even know sex abuse exists. But you know what he's done now? He's blocked me. He's hidden all that evidence for his own sex life. That's what's happened. He wants it for his sex life.
I hear you, but what's happening in schools is that other kids are sexually raping, groping children. And I had a family call me from Ontario. Her 12-year-old daughter was on the playground, and 2 boys in grade 7 went and put their hands down her top, then down her pants to grope her vagina. 12-year-old boys during school hours, lunchtime. Usually there's supervision or something an adult should be able to see. She went and told her mom what had happened. The mom is a mental health therapist. They actually said that the principal and the teacher of that school said, "Oh, that didn't happen. Your daughter has a wild imagination. This didn't really happen on the school." And then the boys and the girls that were involved in this incident started saying on the playground, "Snitches get stitches." And she was harassed and followed home from school by a bunch of girls.
Oh, no.
Because of the sexualization, right? The film, the books, the language, the whole thing is ramping up kids to attack and to violate other women.
Well, this is
Sexual.
it. We've actually had in Scotland, children did assault another child straight after the lesson. Straight after the lesson. We've done freedom of information requests here to the police stations. Now, we know schools are reluctant to report abuse. We've got reports saying so, right? But even, we did an FOI just for 3 school years, and we had from one police force, there was 517 sexual assaults and rapes reported in 3 school years. 100 and odd was by children. 90 was by adults, and they don't know the age of the other perpetrators. That's the first thing you do when you go to the police station. Name, age, date of birth.
Yeah.
No. So we've got these assaults taking place. Nothing is being done about it. What we've got in our policies, so for peer-on-peer abuse, in our policies, our teachers are given a chart, and they've got to assess the level of danger within that child's behaviour, whether it gets passed on or not.
Yeah.
You know, we should be dealing with preventative programs here, you know, but it's the same. If you're going to dangle the car keys in front of a child, the child wants to go and drive that car.
Yeah.
You know, they're not going to think about, I've done it myself as a child. I've got in my mother's car, turned the key in. Do you know what I mean? I've done that. You know, so, and this is what we do when we are handing children the keys to machinery, which is very, very dangerous. You know, it's going to have a lifelong effect on them. And that doesn't matter if that's the gender, if that's the queerness, if that's the sexual nature of it. There are consequences to this, and nobody seems to be highlighting those, you know?
Well, I think they're being highlighted, but our systems here in Canada are so corrupt. Our court system are corrupt. The school boards are corrupt. Health Canada is corrupt. All of these organizations who probably have pedophiles in them are all being protected, and they're all working for one another, right? The school boards themselves have all these tentacles that branch out to this organization, this organization, this organization to keep the craziness going.
Let me just check my case a minute. I might have something in my case to show you. This is what I carry around. I actually have a conviction list of local councillors. These are the people convicted of sex assaults, and they are the ones making decisions. Now, let me just check if I've got it.
Yeah. Ronnie, this list is extremely long, and it's only the Welsh ones, and we're only a population of 3 million. And when you see this list, it goes on and on and on. No. I think it's police officers, councillors, MPs, teachers. It's police officers. It's really disturbing what's actually going on.
Well, we got the MAID program in Canada, right? So that you can, if you're depressed or anxious, you can go and kill yourself, right? So we have that. But there is in a high school here in BC, they have suicide books in high schools where teenagers can go through the steps to kill themselves. Yeah. So our government, Justin Trudeau, has made this program available called the MAID program, where if you get kids who are depressed, who are slicing, when you get them in this transgender chaos, right? They're so confused, so distraught, you know, they're going through so much that they give them this outlet for this MAID program, and they go and harm themselves.
Can you send that to
schools are providing these books to kill themselves.
Could you send that to us, please? When did all this really start in your country?
Sorry, say that again.
When did all this really start?
Well, I mean, I saw the trickling in. So through the schools, I can only speak for what I've seen and what I've witnessed in the school. They have started the stuff with small increments, right? Oh, let's put the safe spaces stickers in here with the pride flag. And I just want to say to all the haters who are on here, if there's haters and trolls, I am not homophobic. I am not against the gay people. I'm against the sexualization of 5-year-olds, right? as you're an adult, if you want to be gay, that's your business, right? I don't care. It's your private life. But when it comes to young children, I have a big problem. So I just want to put that out there because I've been labeled things as I'm this, I'm that. So
you're okay on this platform. They know we are. Our policy and funding executive is gay. We have trans parents of trans kids. We are completely a mixed group. So you're okay on this platform.
Well, on every show that I do, I have to put that out there because I'll get my trolls. So what I noticed is that they would put these little stickers, right? They were called safe space stickers, and they had the rainbow flag on it. It was first on the outside of the school. I thought, okay, that's kind of interesting. That's 15 years ago. And then into, now there's a sticker on this gay teacher's door and this gay teacher's door. Okay. Now in the education school board, we have a safe spaces director who helps bring in this GSA in all the schools to bring in the puberty blockers, the transhumanism, right, that we're seeing. So they've done it in small increments, right? Oh, they won't notice this. Let's slip something else in. And so the alarm bell started ringing off for me. In 2019, we had to have a huge school board meeting that the Victoria, Canada said that we had to change our report card writing so that students had to have reflected these gender pronouns. So there was a room of about 25 staff, and they said, okay, we can no longer say he, she. We had to use it, they, and the child's name. The room went bananas. This is before COVID was launched, right? This was about a month before. I'm like, what the heck is going on here? Like, what? So that's when gender pronouns started coming here in BC. So on school-based team meetings, we had to refer to them as that. Report card writing, in the report card writing for the children, it had to be it, they, or the child's name. I said, I refuse this garbage because I worked with kids who were had very challenging issues, were very violent, and it's very hard to get in a relationship with them, right? It takes time to build. Now I'm going to say to that child, hey, how was your homework? Can you go get they're going to go, F you, lady. What are you calling me it for? My name is Bo. You know me. Blah, blah, blah. So it fractures and destroys that student to teacher relationship, right? I'm crossing those boundaries.
Yeah.
So that in 2019 in February is when that hit the fan here. And there's some teachers in Telegram groups that will argue over which pronoun they should use for their report card writing. I said, how about you don't do it?
Yeah.
And you just use what you used to use, because if you stop teaching it, if you stop complying, this stops with you, because there's not enough principals, there's not enough librarians to go into your class to teach this indoctrination. It stops with you.
So let me just go one thing right now. You've said, I'm just trying to work out where we're at with you, because I know we're about 10 years behind America. So I'm just trying to figure out where we're at. So you said that you've got no parental rights. Is that correct?
Do I have no what?
You have no parental rights.
That's right.
Right.
So that here, the parent has to ask the child to go look at their medical records. I had to get permission from my 5-year-old to look at his records.
So you are ahead of us.
So if I just told my 5-year-old that he couldn't have cookies before dinner, right? Because 5-year-olds, their mind changes so quickly. Do you really think if I ask him tomorrow, hey, can I look at your medical records in the doctor's office? He's going to go, no, mommy, you didn't give me the cookies last night. So no, you can't look at it.
Yeah. We've had a child saying a child wouldn't eat their dinner, and he turned around and said, my body, my choice.
That's right.
God. We've had, there was a class not long ago, and the teacher said, you are the luckiest generation of all. You have rights. You don't even need parents anymore.
Wow.
So here in our emergency forms for schools, they have stripped out mother and father. It's caregiver 1, caregiver 2. It's no longer a mother who gives birth. It's a birthing parent. They've told kids here, actually, the president of the BC Teachers Federation has told people all over Twitter that no genders have periods and he's got grown men standing in diapers.
Oh, I've seen that.
BS that they're telling kids here, and that that any gender can have a baby. So they're totally messing up the kid's mind here. No mother, no father, caregiver 1, caregiver 2, chest feeding, birthing person, your parents. We don't actually, teachers are telling kids that we do not have to tell them that you have a different gender identity at school. And parents don't know is that schools have funded transgender closets so that if Joey at home is a boy, and he comes to school and his name is Susie, he can go into the transgender closet without his parents knowing, wear a dress, put on makeup, heels. His pronoun is, I don't know, Zay, my name is blah, blah, blah. And he can act out being a girl all day, goes home, takes it off, and then goes back home, whereas mom knows him as Joey.
Yeah, we've had the same here as well. So they actually transitioned the child for 2 weeks before the parents found anything out about it. This is local to me, but people still think I'm lying. They still think I'm lying, you know? But what we've started doing now is we've started teaching the really small children that if anybody speaks about what's in your pants, you have to shout, no! No! You've got to raise the alarm to all the other children. Privates are private. So we're teaching the small children, because what the teachers are saying is, they need to know correct terminology because there's safeguards. But then again, on the diagram, they've got bottom instead of glucose maximus. Do you know what I mean? So it's all lies. So as soon as we're discussing the failure, we've got children saying, no, private. You know, so we're trying to teach the children to raise the alarm in the classroom so the other small children will be aware, well, actually, because 5 years ago, we were teaching private. But now we're teaching children private, but what's in your pants? We've got a 6-year-old that's come home and said to a 78-year-old grandfather, I know what's in your pants, Granddad. You've got a penis. And they've also told that little girl now that she's not allowed to speak to her grandparents about what happens at school. So if her grandparents, she's taken this literal, right? This 6-year-old is taken literal. If they say, what have you done in school today? She goes, ah. But if another family member asks what she's done in school, she'll tell them. Because the teachers told her she's not allowed to tell the grandparents, she physically and literally goes,
exactly.
She's doing what she's told.
Yeah, they're told
that. What does that tell her?
So the Public Health of Canada has a cartoon booklet that our government pays for, and it has questions and answers on it for gender identity in schools. The topics include hormone therapy, mental health, proper terms to use, where and when, your pronouns, what is gender identity. It also recommends that schools not involve parents with gender-confused children, keep parents alienated and a secret from parents, such as the transition closets, and telling students at home is not always a safe place to be. Our government is paying for these schools to push this out to kids, and now parents are wondering why the children's behavior is escalating. There's more lockdowns in classrooms where children are losing their shit. We have kids who are being physical, violent. There was a meeting about 2 months ago. There was a bunch of teachers in a classroom having a meeting. They were shocked on how the children have been so misbehaved. It must be from home, and that they're so troubled, and that they cannot contain the violent outburst of these children. If I was in that meeting, I would say, you know who the problem is? You guys. You created the problem. You've escalated this volcano for 3 years. The volcano's blowing. And now you don't want to take accountability for you being part of that problem?
I feel for me, education is a 3-way partnership. It's the parent, the school, and the child.
It always has been.
But now it's like, are the teachers trained that the parents are the enemy? What is going on? Because they're dead against us. I'm on some teacher groups, and I'm on there pretending to be a teacher.
I do too. Right? I want to see what these guys are up to. I do the same thing as you.
But I've been kicked out now. I have to. We were talking about correct terminology and the way they were to parents, and all I said was, maybe you want to hear the parents out. Maybe the parents have got more qualifications than you. Blocked straight away. So I went to another group where they're all complaining about working conditions, how terrible their working conditions are. Well, if your work conditions are that bad, what are they like for our children? So again, I posed as a teacher. I wrote a long post pretending to be a teacher, and I said, the missing link here to our problems is the parents. Maybe we should reach out to the parents. Maybe we should tell the parents what's going on in their children's space, and they can help us. They wouldn't even allow that post on. It's like every time you suggest some kind of building a relationship or a partnership with the parents, you just immediately shut down.
Yeah.
But the teaching
when they started that,
struggle to recover from this. They're going to really struggle to recover from this. The trust is gone.
So I have told teachers that you better shape up, and this is why. World Economic Forum is already in education here. We have metaverse in classrooms already where kids are wearing the VR glasses. And I said, the World Economic Forum is already in your pension. If you go into World Economic Forum for Education for Ontario, teachers' pensions, they're using their shares to buy the Pfizer stocks, oil, and big box stores like Costco. I said, you are temporary because the World Economic Forum is going to take over your job. They don't need books. They don't need pencils. They don't need people.
Right.
It's going to be AI learning. You are just temporary. You will no longer have a job. So what you're doing right now for a paycheck, that's going to go bye-bye.
Yeah.
So you better, if you really love your job and you really love your paycheck, you better start squawking because it's no longer going to be later.
Yeah. They take every inch of morality out of the classroom. They are taking every inch of morality out of the classroom, and that's exactly where they're headed. Guys, I've got to shoot off now. It's been absolutely lovely to meet you. Would you connect with us on our platform? Because the information you've given here tonight is fantastic. And I really would like people, our followers, to hear what's going on, around the world. Because we try showing them what's going on, but it's in one year out the other. We are crazy people. This is not global. We're insane. So we'd really love.
I would love it too. I would love to have you guys on our Soji News Desk, which is done by our global news anchor. To have you guys on our news desk, and then that is shown around the world, and be able to introduce you to our experts on our team.
That'd be fantastic. Thank you so much. Phil, if you can do the connections for us.
No problem.
I'd like to.
I've got to go because I'm actually in my friend's pub, which is closed.
Oh,
she's upstairs, and I'm just sitting here like I own the joint.
So Kim, are we having a tune off your saxophone before you go?
Oh, I put it away. But there is a video. Do you want me to share a video instead?
Yeah, go and share. Yeah, share the video.
I got it from video. I did one now. Let me find it first. You're going to be really proud of this one, okay? Stacey just filmed me. Sorry, guys, I put my saxophone away.
It was a pleasure meeting you.
Oh, wrong one. That's it.
Yeah, Ronnie.
It was a pleasure meeting you as well.
Yeah, Ronnie. Kim's got a habit of ringing me up at 2:00 in the morning when she knows I go offline, and she can be a pain in the ass sometimes.
That's not very nice.
Well, I also have a channel called RH Media Planning for Children, and I would love to have you guys on there as panelists. We're going to be doing some webinars soon.
Can I come on?
Oh, yeah. We're going to be starting some webinars soon to inform parents on what's going on. It would be great to have you guys on there as well.
That'd be amazing. Can I ask you?
Fantastic. Let me just get this video back and show Phil.
Right, we'll watch Kim.
Wait a minute, let me play this video to show you now. Learning the phone for the last 24 hours. Sharing. It's top of the age.
Can't do it, can you?
Oh wait, no. We are.
You keep freezing. I think it's because you're in the pub. I think this might be the connection. It's quite.
Yeah, it's not playing. Hang on, I got it.
Is it playing, Phil? I've got it.
No,
Can
but
I
we
see
can
it?
see you. We can see you on the table with your
Right, you
saxophone.
ready?
Yeah.
Right, you press play now, right? Way to go, Joe.
Well done.
Did you enjoy
You're
that?
mad.
It was wonderful. You've done well.
Did you
Very
enjoy
good.
that?
Yeah, thanks
Less
for
than
jumping on
25.
anyway. Thanks for jumping on,
Ronnie,
Kim,
lovely to
anyway.
meet you. And I'll definitely collect with you soon. Thanks, guys. Hoyle.
Bye.
Good night. Ronnie,
Oh, I want to ask us something too.
you go ahead first then.
Sorry, I know you haven't had any chance to speak, Phil. I just wanted to go back to something you'd said because, like, I thought it was really interesting and I wanted to know a bit more. You'd said about this, about them, talking about suicide to the children. Is that something that they can access within the school, or are they given an app or something?
Our government of Canada has made that possible. If you go on our website, you can actually see it right there, and they tell you how to go and where to go.
Right.
There was a wife of a teacher was telling me in a high school, they had their suicide books in the high school there. So they can check it out and I guess go through the steps on how to do it. But our government of Canada has that available.
I just honestly, that is just the most shocking thing. I've heard a lot of shocking things recently, but that is it's just beyond. I can't believe they're doing that.
Well, we have the fentanyl crisis here as well, right? We have the fentanyl crisis here as well.
Right. Okay.
Where now it's been slipped into children's candy that look like they're called sweethearts. They look like little kids' candy.
Yes.
And some sicko was handing them out during Halloween time and killed a lot of kids. So fentanyl is easy accessible, and that's become a crisis. But also along with the cost of living, families going through hard times, families have lost their jobs, their homes. It seems to be in Vancouver, BC, I'm seeing a lot more tents go up, meaning people living in tents on the street, lost their homes. Businesses, a lot of businesses and stores have been shutting down here because they can't survive under the recession that's going on.
You've been a really interesting guest this week. I would like to bring you on again regarding what happened during COVID and the truckers and stuff. Are you quite aware of what happened?
Oh, I am, because during the term that we hear right now, lockdowns, what parents don't know is that they were already brainwashing students for the word lockdown for, I would say, the last 8 years before COVID actually happened.
Really?
Right? They were training kids to go into lockdown and to go through the whole process.
I think that would be a whole show to talk about that. I would love to have you on regarding that, and then we can tell you what happened in the UK. Because obviously politicians, the media, everyone lied. But in the UK now, we're actually, I think they actually dropped a lot of stuff on us on purpose regarding our health secretary at the time. his WhatsApps have been I think it's 3 million words. And,
Have you heard about this?
And it's over. I mean, how they feared, they put us into fear. That's how they got us into lockdowns. There was no need of mask wearing. It was only because of the Scottish minister at the time and stuff like that. I'd love to go over all that with you and everything. Because I know a hell of a lot about Trudeau, and he's hated here just as much as he's hated in Canada. Believe me, definitely.
Well, he's turning Canada into China, right? And we now are going to be having these 15-minute cities.
We're having them too.
So I say they can stick their 15-minute cities up the you-know-what.
Yes.
Not complying. And I think what I really just, when I do my own shows, I know I dump on some heavy stuff, but I always try to end the shows with a solution. Encouragement, bravery, because I want parents to know that they can stand up and do this, that they can find the courage to protect their children. And literally you have two choices. One, you fight the system, or two, you leave, right? Leave, create your own alternative schooling, get together with some other parents and protect your children in that way where they're not having this indoctrination. So really you have two choices. And we can all do it if we just kind of band together, forget our egos, right? Because egos get in the way. Find other methods of working together, not necessarily having a money system, but a bartering system. If you can't, there's so many teachers that have left the system who would love to be hired or work with a bunch of families. And so it's just trying to get families to go into that teaching mode that they say, well, I'm not a teacher. I don't have my certificate for university. Well, actually, no, you did, because you were a teacher from birth to 5. Here we go to kindergarten, grade 5. You were a teacher. You taught your kids to eat. You taught your kids dress. You taught your children to, go to the washroom. All of these things, you were a teacher. And you are a teacher now. And we just have to get our head out of that mindset that we can teach our children the fundamental things that we feel are necessary.
Yeah, I'd like to say again, you've been a real wonderful guest, along with Kim, amazing. And I would love to have you back on. Anytime you want me on any of your podcasts, just send me a message. It doesn't matter what time of the day it is. Because obviously you'll be going out to Canada.
I would love that. And when we do some webinars and some of our news desk, I'll give you guys a call. We would love to be able to work together, because you know what? This is a global issue. And we do have to step up and protect the children, because the children are the future. They carry on those family heritage, your traditional stories, all of these things. And if kids are not there because they've had their body parts lopped off, they can't produce, where's your family going to go in 10 years? You're going to be gone. You're non-existent.
No. That's what they want, isn't it? So we've got to really fight against this, because they're destroying families. Like you said, it's a worldwide agenda. So this is a massive, massive issue for everyone. So we're all going through the same thing. We're just going through it slightly different times. We are. We're all going through the same things.
Have you ever heard of Canadian Cannabis Radio?
No, I have not.
I was on there once as well, but that was to do with cancer and obviously profit not cure as far as big pharma is concerned and stuff like that. So
yeah, my thing is I'm strictly on education. When I left education, I wanted parents to know what's going on beyond the walls. When you're at work, this is what they're doing to your kids. While you think your kids are safe with a trusted adult and they're getting a good education, So that's been my main focus and continues to be, because I want to see some accountability. I want to see some arrest. I want to see the system crumble, because it needs to crumble. I don't think education system in Canada can be fixed. It needs to come down and built up new.
I agree. Everything at the moment, everything is so corrupt. Everything is so broken, but it's up to us. It's up to us now. We all have to take responsibility individually and then all come together and fight this, don't we?
Absolutely. We all have to unite for the kids, right? The kids are the future.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Thanks again for coming on. You've been an amazing guest, and
You
hopefully
are.
we'll see you again shortly.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me on. It's been a pleasure.
Okay.
Thank you. It's been
Night.
so nice meeting you briefly.
Bye.
But been
Have a
Night,
lovely.
wonderful
Ronnie.
day in the UK.
Well, we're going to
Thank
sleep
you.
now. We're going to sleep.
Bye.
Good night.
Bye. Well, that was interesting, wasn't it?
It was amazing. Always great. So
Yeah, it was.
interesting.
Right,
Brilliant. It's so
so-
good to have a guest from Canada, Phil. That was brilliant. Well done.
I have got one in mind from Australia, but I'm gonna wait a little bit before I go anywhere with that one. But yeah, it was been really interesting. So, what have you been up to this week?
Do you know what week are we? What year? What life? What have I been doing this week, Phil? I've forgotten.
Yeah, well, you actually took over my filming in outside the
Yeah.
Tenerife, didn't you, Wednesday?
Right. So what happened was this one.
Yes, but we should go into this, shall we?
Okay. So I am banned on all my Facebook accounts at the moment. I got bans on everything. So I went to the Senedd to film the live for Phil, but obviously I was waiting for Phil's phone that Kim had. So I was waiting for Kim to arrive. So I was there for a little while, and because she had other issues, I think something happened, did it an accident or something. Anyway, so then a speech was starting, and I think Kim arrived and she flew over to me and passed me the phone. I was panicking then because the speech had started. I'm thinking, oh my God, Phil's never going to forgive me now. I'm there trying to. So I got it all set up with a couple of other people's help. And I just tried to stand there as still as possible. It was all going brilliant. I thought, oh, this is going great. And then when Kim's speech, so she'd done some of it, it was fine. And then a second half of her speech, I don't know, I must have pressed something because someone was on the line with us. And I could see everyone commenting and saying oh, it sounds funny. And I'm thinking, oh my God, Phil's never going to trust me again. That's me finished.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you've done a good job anyway. And the reason why Christy was actually filming for me was because of I raised just over £700 for PCP Wales by having 2 tattoos done, folks. Let's show them.
Wow.
So that's the one on the back of my leg. That's with the cling film all gone now. And the one I know a lot of people voted for this in the poll. And it's this one.
Oh, I like the picture.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it's good. They're really good. Great tattoo artist.
Yeah, so I had a live going on 2 phones, one on my face.
You wig on.
And one of the tattoo actually getting done. So it was a worthwhile cause, and I don't mind having those 2 tattoos on the back of my legs. No. But please, I'm not doing any more for anybody else. Like I said, I'm not a human billboard, and I'm not going to be doing it again, folks. So that's a definite.
Fair enough.
So, there's something I wanted to talk to you about the up and coming demos. So this one's in Cardiff.
Yes.
So 16th of March. Can you tell everybody a little bit about it?
So we've ordered a load of leaflets, obviously about the 15-minute cities, because that's a massive issue. And we're doing lots of outreach, but we thought, how can we get all these leaflets out? So we're starting with 4 different areas. We've got 3 in Cardiff, 1 in Barry. So what we're going to do is we're just going to have somebody stood at the meeting places with the leaflets. If you could turn up, if you live anywhere near these places, just turn up, meet the person with the leaflets and just help get these leaflets out for the 15-minute cities, because Cardiff City Council has signed up for them, Swansea,
Bridgend, and lots of other places, as you probably know. So, yeah.
Yeah, there is
That one. So
I've got quite a few to go through here. This one's in April. This is from Banners on Bridges and Students of Tyranny. And I think Voice of Wales is involved with this one as well. This is Castle Gardens.
Do you know what? Me and Sasha and Fran sorted this out, but yeah, so we obviously we've got James involved because James is based in Swansea in uni. So and then obviously Voices of Wales put it up as well. So yeah, so it's in Swansea, so that's an outreach. So there'll be quite a lot of people involved in that. It should be a good one too.
Yeah, we've got another one on Friday. This one is with Grenadier Roy Brinkley, Calvin Robinson and Lawrence Fox, and you've got Pastor, I can't even see it from here, Ricky Dolan speaking. This is Friday. I can't really see it properly.
What are you looking at?
But all the details are on, it's Friday.
Okay.
All the details are on Real News Live News. That one is the one I will be going to on Friday. I have 2 other people in the car, maybe a third if somebody's interested. And then we have Manchester. That is Saturday. This is Students of Tyranny. This is regarding the Manchester Uni protest. It's basically they're taking their freedom and rights away from students, and they're not allowed to debate difficult subjects if they don't suit the agenda. Then you've got a chance of getting kicked out of uni, basically, isn't it? Cardiff Friday as well. This Friday on the 10th.
Yeah.
That's a 15-minute city, no freedom of movement. Well, you can tell the viewers a bit about this one.
Right. So we're going to meet in Cardiff City Centre by the HSBC Bank. That's at 1:00. And we're just going to give out leaflets, chat to people. We've got some banners that we put up. It's just the thing that obviously the media are never going to tell people the truth about the 15-minute cities. They're going to try and sell it that, oh, it's just a couple of extra cameras. We've got cameras anyway. Well, a couple of extra cameras not going to make any difference. They're just going to try and play it down. And we need to make people aware that this is a massive threat. The 15-minute cities are to take away our freedom. So we're going to be Friday. There's loads going on Friday. But if you're in Cardiff and you want to come to HSBC at 1:00, it'd be great to see you.
Yeah, I'm just looking up. Alan Merritt said it's one this Friday is SE22. I'll have a quick look because obviously when I'm looking on my phone, I can tell you exactly then.
What's that for, Phil? Is that the one with the drag?
Yeah, there was one cancelled.
I saw that. Yeah, that was good. That was good news.
SE17NN, and that was for Saturday. That was. But let's see if I can find it because I keep on losing things, folks.
That's been Is that the one that was really bad? It was so bad, wasn't it? Obscene, like it was gross. That one.
Yeah, but this one isn't very good either. No, it's not. It's a real bad one. Right, I've got it here. Yeah, so this is the Great Exhibition. The location is the Great Exhibition, SE22 9EP, and it's from 11:00 in the morning. So, yes, Alan, I'm going to be going to that one, and I think I shouldn't really be telling you that, but I've got a funny feeling Kim's going to be going as well. So,
oh, wow.
And she'll
amazing.
Be speaking. And
I wish I would go in.
And she'll be speaking.
Oh, I'm gutted I'm going to miss that. But I will watch you live.
Yeah, well, I'm sure if you save your live as well from Friday, we can show a little bit of it on the show as well.
Definitely.
And I can always share it to Real News Live News anyway. So if you do a lot, are you back off your ban by then, or?
Yeah, I think I am actually. I've got a banner soon. Yes.
Yeah,
I can't
definitely.
believe I got 4 accounts, and I'm banned on all.
Yeah, one is cancelled, Alan, but the one I'm on about isn't cancelled at the moment because Kim's going to be speaking at it, Alan. Hang on, there's another banner as well. There's actually 2.
When's this?
This is another drag queen story hour. I think it's going to be. They're going to have a lot of LGBTQ plus and Antifa there.
When is that? 11th.
Yeah, let me get rid of that comment.
I know I can't see it. Where is that one? I want to go to that.
I'm going Saturday. So hang on a minute. Let me get rid of the banner. I need to get rid of that one as well. There you go.
Sorry. Vaping.
Part of our off-the-shelf free literary event, Saturday, 11th of March, 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. Accrington Town Square.
Where's that?
Oh, it's it's a bit of a mile. It's just past Manchester.
Oh, is it?
And you're actually going to Manchester, yeah? Are you going to Manchester or not on Saturday?
No, I'm not.
You can always jump in my car and go to Accrington Stanley.
What, the following week?
No, Saturday.
Oh, this Saturday. Oh my God, it's so far, isn't it? I hate that it's so far. But, oh, there you are. Alan's come in.
Yeah, that's for Friday. Alan's coming to that one. There is Lordship Lake. Yeah, definitely.
That would be
there is another one on Saturday, I think. Let's see if I can find it. Is it Saturday? Enough is enough. There's 2 hotels. Where's this now? I got to get rid of it all again. Anyway, this is a nightmare. Cannock Town Centre. That's at 12 o'clock on the 11th. There, Saturday coming up. So there's quite a few demos happening right around the country, like, do you know?
It's all happening, isn't it?
Yeah, there is. Let's get rid of that one. I don't think there's any more I've got here at the moment, but that's just for this week. So
enough.
I will probably, I'll decide on the way up to Manchester which one I'm going to. Obviously, if I go to, I'm going to the drag queen one in London, and then I'm going to probably go straight up, come back home, and then Saturday I'll go up to Manchester. It's still a 4-hour drive from London if I stayed in London anyway. So.
Oh, I wish I'd known about Friday. If we'd known, I bet we would have all liked that. Me and Sasha and Fran would have loved that one.
It can get a bit hectic, like, because they come out in force. Do you mean?
I know. That's why. Well, we need as many people as possible. Next time there's one like that, though, that's closer to home, let me know, and I'll definitely come.
I think it will be in 2 weeks' time. If they don't get this one cancelled, I think it will be in 2 weeks' time, because they have said it's a fortnightly event. This show goes on, so.
I'll go again then in 2 weeks. What date is that then? In 2 weeks.
Let's go back to it.
I'm going to look on my phone now.
The 10th, 17th, the 24th. The 24th would be.
I could do that one, yeah. If it isn't cancelled, I'll go to the 24th.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one.
Yeah.
Well, it did kick off last time, and that was on a Saturday. We had the riot police there and everything, like, do you mean? So it should be an interesting one. Okay, thank you for jumping on as well, Christy. There's me forgetting your name again. I keep on thinking you're a Kirsty for some reason, but I should know you, Christy. Sorry.
Are you misgendering me or something?
Well, I'm not misgendering you. I'm not calling you a he, am I?
Oh, that's all right then. Yeah, because I was thinking of changing my name to Brian.
Oh, yeah. I'm going to change mine to Philippa if I get arrested.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If anyone knocks my door for bills, I'm just going to say, sorry, I don't know who you're talking about. I've never heard of them.
Yeah, that's it.
No, I won't. I won't play their game. The dangerous game.
So I'd like to thank both guests. They were absolutely brilliant.
I know.
Ronnie and Kimberly. Always a pleasure having Kimberly on, and Ronnie was the first timer, and she knows her stuff, like, do you know what I mean?
Oh my gosh, I could see. Really interesting.
And I'd like to thank all the people who are watching, all the people who've shared. Yeah, you've done amazing, and a special thank you to the admin, because you've been great as well. In the background, you don't see them, folks, but they are there. They are warning me and stuff. That's why my phone sometimes starts vibrating. So thank you all very much. Let's end the show with.
Thanks, Phil.
Oh, you've been amazing. You have.
And you have. You're amazing. We're amazing.
I look forward to seeing your lives from the weekend.
Yes, I will do some, definitely. Yeah, you take care. Bye, everyone. Thank you.
Nos dar all.
Okay, picking it up here in Wilmington, North Carolina, right at the Intercoastal. We're in one of these vans.
So that's my site, Dell, in Wilmington, North Carolina. But as he races and fights to win Friday, check out the two guys who seem to walk right by him in the background there. No trouble at all. The video has been shared more than 1 million times on social media. Now it's
Cruising, losing, looking for some news and losing it's amusing. Other people choosing the topics I can view and the subjects I can chew on, the facts that I can spew and the news they put their slew on. Twisty, turny, wriggly, wormy, squealy, squirmy news. Psychopathic journalists deceiving with their views. Tightening like a tourniquet, they're aiming to confuse. Nightly negative narratives narrating you the blues. Blues and twos, new taboos, the pasta's all sold out. The hurricane's incoming and the world is dying out. Asteroids, blasteroids, steroids in their tails. The windiest ever windy gales are blowing in the dales. The sea levels are rising at a super duper rate. 247 365, the caliphate's your fate. Tidal waves are waving like the death rays from the sun. Duck and cover, stand your ground, there's nowhere else to run.
Now, more on the latest building collapse in New York. You might have heard a few moments ago I was talking about the Salomon Brothers building collapsing, and indeed it has. Jane, what more can you tell us about the Salomon Brothers building and its collapse?
Well, only really what you already know. Details are very, very sketchy.
Writing, fighting, to publish stuff exciting. Losing it's amusing, other people choosing. The posts that I can post and the documents I can read from. The info I can feed from, the facts the checkers get wrong. Sleazy, slimy, geeky, grimy, blackout, soulless tech. Concluding with a clickety-click what's wrong and what's correct. Politically encouraged with protection from the law. They're getting pretty ruthless now, they panicking for sure. Scrubbing out the info like a scrubber in a tub. Deleting the derogatory of the members in their club. Documents and studies disappear without a trace. Psychopathic moral unless they're doing it in your face. The info is erasing at a super duper rate. Breach community standards, your account will feel a fate. Post a funny meme means that you hate and are extreme. No chance of an appeal cause you're white and so supreme. Doctors, nurses, scientists and servants. Real boys made from wood, covering for the perverts. Defining definitions that will put you in a spin. Anything of interest gets filed in recycled bin. Algorithms algorizing the content that you post. Collecting info